Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're undertaking a massive paradigm shift, architecting modern power and control. We're going to completely tear down that outdated, aggressive hustle culture you see constantly pushed on us, and we're going to replace it with a sleek, modern, high-leverage operating system. So let's get right into it. Okay, so think about that classic image of the stressed-out startup founder, right? The one frantically typing away at 3 a.m., insisting on handling every single detail themselves. We've totally been conditioned to applaud that behavior. But here's the jarring truth. If you're doing all the hard work yourself, you are not a boss. You're just an employee of your own ego. If you're hoarding tasks and refusing to delegate, you haven't actually built an empire. You've basically just built a really demanding cage for yourself. And what's really interesting about this is how it exposes what we call the hustle delusion. Society feeds us this massive lie that grinding 18 hours a day somehow proves your worth or guarantees success. But the fatal logic flaw here is thinking that frantic physical labor equals actual power. In reality, it literally just wastes your precious energy and absolutely guarantees burnout. So you really have to stop and ask yourself right now, are you acting as the boss or the laborer? Look, time is precious, life is incredibly short, and trying to do it all on your own completely destroys your leverage. As a modern operator, you literally cannot afford to be the bottleneck of your own enterprise. You have to actively choose the role you're going to play. Which brings us to an absolutely crucial rule of power. Never do yourself what others can do for you. Think about the massive tech giants today. A visionary CEO doesn't sit in a cubicle writing every line of code. They orchestrate the brilliant engineers who do. It's all about utilizing the wisdom, the knowledge, and the legwork of other people to further your cause and scale your system. When you finally embrace this, you become the architect. And this brilliantly illustrates the godlike aura of efficiency you gain. Picture a majestic eagle just gliding effortlessly on the thermocurrent, while all the smaller birds are down below flapping frantically and exhausting themselves. That eagle is the architect. When you stop sweating the tiny details and start building the system itself, you get that exact same effortless elevation. Just look at this stark contrast. On one side, you've got the laborer, grinding away, sweating over every minor detail, burning through frantic energy, and honestly, eventually forgotten. But on the other side, the architect. You hire the specialists, you direct the flow of labor. By managing the vision from above, you completely conserve your energy. The laborers naturally fade into the background, while you, the architect of the whole shebang, collect the credit and are remembered at the top. Okay, let's shift gears and dive into Law 8, the in-down power play. This is all about the psychology of the chase and making them cross the room. There's this devastating reality in modern business and negotiations. The person who chases loses. Imagine running desperately after a moving train, missing it, and collapsing. That's exactly what desperation looks like. The moment you start acting out of desperation, chasing clients, chasing deals, constantly seeking validation, you instantly destroy your leverage. We constantly fall into this thing called the aggression trap. Society teaches us that we always need to be on the offensive, hunting down deals, constantly pitching, but constantly reacting and endlessly pursuing a target, it exhausts your resources. And even worse, by being the one in frantic motion, you hand the power directly over to your opponent. You give them total control of the board. So instead of constantly hunting, ask yourself, what happens when you force your opponent to step into your territory? The dynamic flips. It is always better to make the other person abandon their own well-laid plans and come to you. When you force them to make the move, you get to dictate the terms of the engagement. And this perfectly illustrates why fighting on your own ground is such a game changer. Think of an overhead view of a massive maze. The chaser is frantically navigating the corridors, reacting constantly, totally burning out. But the baiter, they're waiting calmly at the center. By forcing others to come to your ground, you make them nervous. They feel completely out of their element, which forces them to rush, panic, and make fatal errors. So the ultimate fix is actually incredibly simple. Bait and wait. Remember that majestic eagle we talked about? Picture it perched high up, perfectly still, just watching its prey approach directly into its strike zone. You drop into this slow, methodical posture. You don't hunt. You lure them with fabulous gains. You set the perfect trap, and then you just calmly wait for them to walk right into it. Here are the actual mechanics of the trap. Step 1, dangle the bait. Present the exact solution to their biggest problem. Step 2, sit back and wait. Let them invest their own time and energy to cross the distance to reach you. Let them navigate the maze. And finally, step 3, assume total control. Because here's the beautiful truth. By the time they finally arrive at your table, exhausted from the chase, they have already submitted, leaving you holding absolutely all the cards. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought to consider as you evaluate your own daily operations. Are you going to continue to exhaust yourself sweating the tiny details and frantically chasing the train? Or are you finally ready to stop, claim your true leverage, and become the architect of the tracks themselves? The choice is entirely yours.